like to call to order the St. John Board of Stormwater Management meeting for Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. I'd like to let the record show 6:01 p.m. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ken Gambala is absent. Vanessa Merkel,
Present.
Robert Zaney,
Here.
Joe Wiswati,
Present.
Bob Voice.
Here.
You have a quorum. All votes need to be unanimous.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Okay, we have the minutes from our prior meeting from May 17th, 2023. Have you had a chance to take a look at it, Vanessa?
Yes.
Okay, what is your desire?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from Wednesday, May 17th.
Okay, I'll second approving the minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion approves. Okay, we have some old and new business. We have some updated information and a timeline from Senator Dalton. So I'll let you take it.
Thank you, sir. So we had to amend the timeline slightly because the Stormwater Board is ultimately responsible for approving the stormwater fee. And so with this new timeline that you should have in your packet, tonight you'll be providing a formal recommendation to council. Council will meet next week for approval via ordinance, and then at your July meeting, we'll have a public hearing so that we can get final adoption of this fee. So those are the slight adjustments from the timeline that we had put together a month ago.
Okay. Would you like to add anything else, or?
I guess once that's all said and done, we will be working with the county to get the parcel listings so that we can implement the fee on the 2024 property tax bills.
Very good. And then it looks like once that's all taken care of, and it'll be on the property tax bill, and then the town should receive the first installment by June of 2024.
Yep. Yes.
Great. All right, very good. Any questions, Vanessa?
No, that just keeps us on track then with like the projects that you provide. So once that goes through, then all that will take place essentially.
Yes. So based, with some of the budgeted items in the rate study, we'll have to wait until we get our first installment of stormwater fees until we can really start acting on those.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, move on to 5B, which is the resolution number 2023-06-22, a resolution recommending the establishment of a fee for the stormwater management and for the meeting state mandates regarding the management of stormwater. Did you get a chance to take a look at it, Vanessa?
Yes.
Okay. I did read through it as well. So obviously, Joe, this was given to the attorney, and this is a result of what the attorney's come up with?
The resolution itself?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay.
If I may reiterate, this was, you had verbally recommended option C last month.
Right, and option C, which is on the last page on Exhibit A, is reflective of the $7 monthly fee as broken out by Senator Dalton.
So that's multiple different fees, but $7 for agriculture / vacant.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Let's
Broken
stand
down
corrected. So
For residential.
for the option C, It covers the agricultural, vacant, industrial, commercial, residential, municipal charities, et cetera, utilities, and railroads. So, so that annual total amount comes to $1,044,167 for the record.
We adjusted, just so you know, we adjusted the budgetary numbers as it applies to these numbers, so that way we're not going to go lose money on this thing. So we took a good hard look at projects, operational costs, stuff like that. So Daniel, who else was at that meeting? Oh, Bob Valois.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had lots of people there, yeah, for that meeting, and
So-
we all kind of, you know, we really dug into it and got the number down to where, you know, we feel comfortable, where that's a good operating number.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, ideally, it's not the best, but it's something that's palatable.
Right.
And it's not the highest option, but it's definitely not the lowest option.
Mhm.
Okay. Very good. So with that said, you're looking for a recommendation based on this resolution number 2023-06-21 to go to the council?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Quick question on the resolution number as stated on the agenda, just for the record, the resolution number should be 2023-06-21. I think that's just a
Oh,
error on the agenda.
oh, I noted. We're either ahead of ourselves or,
Well, yeah, 'cause we're not to tomorrow yet.
yeah. But when we get there, we'll know it.
Exactly.
Okay, so, I know Ken's not here, but Vanessa, if you look this over and you have any thoughts on recommendation, are we still looking at consideration and recommendation for option C?
I think the recommendation was still on option C. I know there was discussion about giving the town council, was it about, adjustment to increase if needed?
So if you recommend option C, that's the minimum.
Mhm.
They can recommend or approve a higher amount,
Okay.
and then your final approval will be in July at your stormwater public hearing.
Okay,
Mhm. They cannot recommend a lower
No.
number.
so it's a minimum of option C, but the council has the ability to increase it if they so desire?
Yes.
Okay, just so we're clear.
And then who would ultimately they would have to finalize that approval then if they changed it?
If they changed it, then we would revise the ordinance at the July stormwater board meeting.
And then we would have to vote on it based upon,
Well, the problem is that they won't even be able to consider this until July, the town council.
Do you know the date of their meeting?
Yeah, give me a
Is it
second.
second week of,
It would be July 26th. Their study session would be likely the 20th.
can they
Is that going to work time-wise?
look at this at next week's meeting?
What do they have to do as far as
It would be an ordinance that they would have to approve.
approve it on first reading
Mm-hmm.
and then approve it, finalize it at the July meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't they approve it at the meeting at the 20th on first reading?
July 20th?
Yeah. So basically, we got to have a special meeting anyway.
Okay.
So we could just have it as a special meeting and just have that as the one action item outside of the study session. That work? 'Cause when does it
I
have to
believe
be,
so.
when does it have to be finalized? Is it end of July?
I need to be able to submit parcels to the county by the end of September. Well, which means I need to be able to get parcels from the county by early September.
Okay, so we got time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just don't want to go all the way.
I don't want to postpone this till August.
No.
Mhm.
So, Yeah, we'll have the discussion, but offline, but yeah, I think the 20th, we do the first reading and then they can do a final reading. They can't do first and second at the same meeting?
I was under the impression that they could.
Sometimes you can amend the rules and do that.
Well, no, they wouldn't have to amend the rules. Basically, they could consider it on first reading, and if it's a unanimous vote, that's the problem, if it's not unanimous. So if we did it,
Okay.
consider it on first reading on the 20th, and then adopt it on the second reading at the following meeting, on the 26th, so a week
That
later.
should work.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Because you're right, to push this off into August, then you're really cutting it close.
Mm-hmm.
Time frame is really tight at that point.
Yeah, we
Right.
had the same problem last year. Mm-hmm.
20th?
Because the next stormwater board meeting is on the 19th, so if they need to revise it.
Well, we would call,
How
yeah,
do
we
you
would
wanna
just
give
call a
an
special
option
meeting.
of-
We'd call a meeting on the 24th or something like that.
I would just say probably the C, and then that would be the minimum.
Yeah.
And then,
So if the
Well,
council
no,
does.
we would need to have second reading before the 19th.
I'm sorry?
We would need to have the council approve this ordinance before the stormwater board approves this ordinance.
When's the public hearing? The 19th?
the 19th. Right?
You're killing me. Oh, look at that, they're gonna be there on the 20th. Okay, sorry. Who's holding the public hearing?
This board.
Okay, question. So if it's adopted or considered on first reading on the 12th, so in other words, if we had a special meeting on the 12th for the council, then they could have their public hearing on the 19th. Doesn't need to be adopted. Correct?
Who has the public
So-
hearing? Who are you?
You said this board has the
Yes.
public hearing.
Yes.
So if the council considers it on first reading on the 12th, they hold the public hearing, then they adopt it on the 26th.
And then they're still on track.
Because the
for the
public
20th.
hearing, I think, just needs to be held before it's adopted.
Can they consider this at next week's meeting on June 28th?
I doubt it.
No.
No.
Okay.
Only because of logistics and timing. It's just, it's going to be virtually impossible. But we could consider it
That's
on-
not a public hearing.
What's that?
That would not be a public hearing for council. We would not have to advertise it.
For council?
Hmm.
So you're telling me or asking me?
I'm telling you.
Okay. I wanted to clarify that. It sounded like a question, that's why I was like. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, from what I understand is, as long as the public hearing is held before it's the ordinance is adopted, I think that's the key. You know, we did already have a public hearing on this matter. So I don't know if we need to have another one.
That was a question in my mind. I know we had one prior, so
I mean, it, out of just due diligence, it's probably not a bad thing,
Right.
right? I mean, so if we held the public hearing on the 19th, which I think is advertised, right?
We will get that
Okay.
advertised. Yes.
So we hold the public, here, you better get moving on that, just so you know, there's some real,
I already have it. Yeah,
okay,
it's
there's,
ready to
there's
go.
some time issues with the newspapers apparently. I'm like, oh, good Lord.
Okay.
So, and your clock is really ticking down right now on that, so you know. So tomorrow might be a good day to get that done.
You bet.
So, consider on first reading the ordinance by the town council on a special meeting on the 12th, and then we'll have our study session thereafter. Normally, we would do it on the 20th, but there's something going on in the park on the 20th, so maybe they want to go to that, I don't know. Back here in Stormwater on the 19th for the public hearing, even though we've already had, I think, 2 public hearings on this thing. So this will be number 3.
Mhm.
Why not, right? That way they can't say their public did not have an opportunity to give input. And then they could adopt on second reading on the 26th.
26. Okay.
And as long as the public hearing is held before the adoption, I think you're good.
Okay. I agree with that. 26.
thanks for the clarification on that. Yeah.
Yeah, just as we're on track.
Okay. And Jason, just to verify, it is recording, right? Okay. Because I didn't see a light on there, even though I pressed the button. I just want to make sure, so thank you. Okay, with all of those formalities discussed, is there a motion on this resolution recommending the establishment of a fee for the stormwater management for many state mandates regarding the management of storm water?
Make a motion to pass, or to, is it to pass or to approve? Okay,
Motion to approve, and that's with, which option?
option C.
With option C. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, this is our time where we ask for public comment. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to reports and correspondence. And reports from Robinson Engineering.
I have no report tonight.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Town Manager, any?
Yeah, just briefly, we're starting the budget process, so as we begin this process, and provided everything is adopted by the council in July, then we will move forward and get the budget finalized for stormwater management as well. One of the components is right now we don't have the budgetary authority as a board right now, but just so you know, we're looking at budgeting a sewer vac truck, and that would be split 30-30-40, so 30-30 for water and stormwater, 40% for sanitary. So I'm looking to see if we have any money laying around that we can grab to help stormwater with the funding on this, because at least purchasing it for 5 years, we didn't want to tap the resources for water and sanitary, so we're going to kind of do this over maybe a 3 or 5 year lease purchase plan. So
okay.
Danny's going to work all that stuff up, so because he's good at that. And we have authorization to move forward on that purchase from both of those respective boards. However, again, you guys don't have any budgetary authority right now. Once this gets adopted, then we can maybe have you guys adopt that at your August meeting as well.
Okay,
So that way, we can just kind of keep that as a placeholder and keep things moving.
Sure.
Get that done.
sounds good. And out of curiosity, what's the time frame once you order one of those these days?
That's why we want to get it moving.
Yeah.
We're looking at late 2024, maybe.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow.
maybe. Yeah, the biggest issue is that getting the chassis. The rest of the stuff isn't the problem, so it's
Wow.
just getting the chassis on that. And we've been after the what is it? The dump truck, 7-yard or 7-ton, or what is that thing? 6-ton. So we're finally moving forward on that, trying to get one of those. We're ideally needing 2, and we did have that teed up for the ARPA money for that. So hopefully we can kind of get some money freed up out of the ARPA fund to kind of help offset the cost of the sewer vac truck. So, you know, we're working on that. And someone said, "Is there any grants available for that?" I'm like, you know, if there were, I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
Money tree in the backyard.
that's what I keep saying every time I look at, you know, something. It's like, yeah, I got stacks and stacks of stuff on my desk, and it all costs money. And I'm like, I wish I had a money tree.
Yep,
Yeah.
right there with you.
But that's all I have. Thanks.
And just out of curiosity, just a question more than anything with the purchase of this equipment and so forth, is there actually the ability to house this equipment?
Yeah, that would be replacing our other Vector truck that's
Gotcha.
from 1999, so, yeah,
Okay.
there's room.
Which Bob Davis did say, I got clarification on what was actually said. This was mentioned at the Water and Sanitary Boards. He said that we might get a year or two out of the old Vector truck, and it's at its end of life. It really is, in terms of, use, and then starting to put money into this thing. It's like a 1999.
Yeah.
So it's not worth putting big bucks into. It's, nickel and diming right now. But if we get hit with a major cost on it, it might be better to go rent one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than to buy one, because we're looking at buying a new one anyway, but, paying $60,000 to fix something that's worth 10 is kind of dumb.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Well,
Just-
hopefully, time frame wise, it'll last you for what you need, and,
Yeah,
if everything plays out right.
yeah. I know Bob did mention something that, there was, we're going to get some years out of this, but from looking back on this thing, he said maybe a year or two, and we're at year, and two's next year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're definitely at end of life on this thing.
Right. So
Joe, what do we do with this retired machinery,
With the retired machine,
retired equipment? Just a,
burn it?
And sell it? I mean,
is there any
is that
chance
required
to sell?
I mean, we could put it on
Scraps.
the,
Gov.
.gov thing,
Okay,
and,
I was just curious.
yeah, because I got stuff in the garage I want to get rid of too, so you got to find a solution.
so
for that.
there wouldn't be a trade-in for the old one for the new, or?
I don't think they would take it.
Yeah.
It's like trading a '74 Buick. No one wants it.
What's wrong with that?
Well,
Out there?
hey man, they wouldn't take my '74 Buick.
All right, very good. Thank you, Joe.
All right.
Okay, I think we're here near the end, so is there a motion to adjourn?
You can motion to adjourn?
I will second, and the meeting is adjourned, and let it be noted, 6:23.